everybody, welcome to the stress workshop, or the de-stress workshop, that we like to call it. I'm actually really excited to do this workshop, and I'm going to start it with the same joke I do every time when I do this workshop, is that this workshop is actually for me, and if any of you guys want to listen to it, cool, because I need this time of year. I think we all need it, and those at home watching, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're wrapping presents or making cookies or whatever and having me in the background, because it's just really a time of year that we really need to focus even on ourselves. It's a time of year that we're usually focusing on everybody else, so kudos to all you guys, especially here, for taking a time out right now to focus on yourself. And so, first of all, so happy that you guys are here live, and of course people online, because this is really needed right now. Holidays are stressful, man. You know, I've had a bunch of patients come in that are just going through it. It's a very, very weird time of year. I can say from experience and myself that holidays are not easy for everyone. Not all of us have healthy family relationships. So it's a tough time of year, and it's a time of year that we really need to pull out those tools from our tool belt, right? So this workshop came to be, actually this is a Dr. Jamie original, woo, what's up? So you won't see this anywhere else. It's a workshop that I've created over the last, I started doing this workshop years ago. This is pre-COVID, but throughout the last, I'd say 20 years of, between doing, and you guys know I'm a sponge, right? So anytime I can be educated, reading an inspiration book, my friends know they do their reading groups and their reading clubs and book clubs, and they know not to invite me because I'm there with my nonfiction working on something, because I love learning anything I can. And so this workshop is just basically a compilation of how Dr. Jamie got through her traumas in the last 20 years, right? We've all been through crap, and we're going to talk about, these are the things that in my life that have helped me, that I'm always using. And I was looking at the slides this weekend, and I don't really change them. Maybe I update if I read a good book or something like that. But it all really stays the same, and it's just stuff we need to do every year and focus on every year, because no one is perfect. These are tools that I'm going to put in your tool belt, and who knows, maybe you'll be inspired for something that you just create in your mind, and that's great. And hopefully after the workshop you tell me about it. If you have a mantra you come up with, good, let's do it. I'm the queen of mantras. So let's dive in, and we're going to talk about stress. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, so let's answer the big question, right? Because this is going to solve all our problems. What's the key to never having stress ever again?
Drink.
Well, that's really nice.
I love you.
Yeah,
I think the truth is realizing there's no such thing. Do we live in bubbles? No. And what's amazing? I'm part of this group called the Power Women Group for the Beverly Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to be a board member coming up in March. And I've been a member for a long time, and I love this Power Women Group. I was one of the chair people who started it. And we do these panels of women business owners like once a year, and hearing people's stories. Our state rep told her story, and I had no idea what she's been through. The most successful women you look at that you think, wow, they have an incredible life. You learn what they've gone through or what they're going through, and it's just, so it's very inspiring, right? But realizing that stress is going to happen. Things are going to happen in our life, but it's the way we respond, right? That's the important thing. So what we're going to talk about tonight, as you know, I always have a roadmap. Okay, you guys, some of you guys are my age. So I think it's funny. First one is, let's talk about stress.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. All right, good. I was feeling a little older earlier, because we're doing all these now and then reels. If you're online, check out our Instagram reel. And I started on Facebook too, of the kids growing up in our office for our 12-year anniversary. I'm not okay. Not okay. It looks exactly the same. Oh my gosh. It's like 10 years later, and there's our, now from our 4-year-old to our teenager, and Katie, and Katie. It's exactly the same. It's that girl. I'm drinking the Ipswich water. How to prevent unnecessary stress, kind of like we need to stop sweating small things. So we're going to talk about that. And then when shit happens, I'm going to swear because it's a workshop, how to help kind of manage it, right? Or deflect something, right? So let's talk about what is stress. Okay, I'm going to do this the Dr. Jamie way. What is stress? It's a stimulus. So something crappy happens and our body responds physiologically. Fair? My nurse is in the front. Yep. That's an easy way to describe it, right? It's a physiological response to something bad happening, right? Or something happening, not necessarily bad, I guess. Mostly bad. But is all stress bad? All right, so is the stress response bad when, oh my God, a bear just came in here and started attacking me, and now cool, my heart rate went up and I'm ready to fight it. You guys know I would protect you from that bear. Come on, I play football. I can take that bear. Let's go. You guys are fine. right? Is that good short term?
Yeah.
Of course it is, because I'm going to fight that bear, y'all safe, right? So it's good short term, but is it good long term? Does stress have a purpose? Absolutely, right? My favorite phys teacher would talk about, if you don't understand something, I think you guys would appreciate this, go back to when we're cave people. That's what we're programmed to be. So you have your sympathetic nervous system, right? And your parasympathetic. So it's like, in your nervous system, there's the stuff you can control, which is somatic, and the stuff you can't. Did you wish I taught you in neurobiology?
I literally I love these workshops because I'm like, this is what I tell people every
Right,
day, and I
exactly.
love it.
So in the stuff we can't control, we have our stress response, like our sympathetic nervous system, and then we have our para. We're gonna go back to that, which is your rest and digest, right? And they're both very purposeful. So, but here's the deal: when you were a cave person and you were fighting like a lion or a tiger or a bear or right? Those had purpose. But if you're sitting in traffic, is it the same stress response for hours and hours on 128? Okay, so that's probably one of the problems, right? So our sympathetic nervous system, like I just said, our fight and flight, basically takes over our physiology, and we know this. Actually teaches a lot of chiropractic seminars because of how to be effective. Stay tuned. So it's a physiological response. You know, it even affects your liver when you have stress response. I love that. Why is it every freaking year it's all women in this workshop? I think sometimes I have one or two dudes and it's brought by one of the females. They're literally with their wife or girlfriend who drag their butt here. It's always us women. I love that because we're stressed, man, and we want to fix that. We don't compartmentalize. But our liver's affected, our heart's affected, our lungs, digestion, skin, and I can go on and on because we know that. I mean, I've been deep diving into like perimenopause, menopause. Cortisol F's up our hormones. We always knew that, right? Because when you stress really hard, can you skip a period? Yeah. Stress messes up our female hormones. So even more so, we need to manage our stress as women, right? Fight me, man, fight me. But cortisol, so this is the hormone we're talking about, right? And actually, you guys, okay, you know what, my army, because you guys are called my army, make me do a women's health workshop next year.
I would love that.
Because I've been deep diving so much into even how cortisol messes up our female
I have
hormones.
2 CMEs I'm doing on specifically hormones.
Okay,
and
we'll have a
hormone
chat.
stuff.
We'll have to create it together. Oh my god,
I can help you.
I love this for us. So why is cortisol good? Well, you get a burst of energy. So think about that bear that I'm attacking, right? It's not attacking me, I'm attacking it. Let's go. Heightened memory function, burst of immune system, lower sensitivity pain. You've heard that, right? Moms that like freaking pick up cars or it's crazy when their kid's injured. But long term is not good. And they say that stress response only lasts about 10-15 Yikes. And of course bad, long-term stress, right? Long-term stress can affect your memory and your brain. Absolutely. We know that. PTSD shrinks the prefrontal cortex. Oh my gosh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my headpiece in. Now at home, you probably can hear me better. Sorry, people at home. Does it click in? These things are horrible. I'm so sorry, people at home. So this is why you should take your time out and come here. It's so much more fun. All right, now you guys can actually hear me. So long-term stress, right? We're talking about, does your brain work great? No, like I just said, PTSD patients, we know for a fact that their prefrontal cortex, you know where I'm going with that one, will shrink for long-term stress, for post-traumatic stress response, right? It screws up our thyroid, which we know as women's not good. Sugar imbalance, so we're thinking diabetes, right? Bone density, high blood pressure, duh. Lower immune system. When do we get sick? When we're stressed, right? And the thing that's really annoying, especially for women, we gain weight here. And actually, oh my gosh, TikTok is such a weird thing. The cortisol face thing, you guys see that? That's like the thing going viral, is that if you have a lot of stress, even your face, but you will gain weight right in here with the long-term stress, which is interesting, right? So let's for those at home now that you actually can hear me, gosh, you think I haven't been doing this for so many freaking years, right? Good Lord. And literally they were sitting right here. I just don't love them because the amount of radiation that comes off of it. Oh, thank you. I am sorry. I know. It's been Dr. Jamie's had a really long day. So if I'm a little tired, I know this is me tired. Crazy, huh? So our first secret word for those at home, now you can hear me, is Santa. You guys don't have to worry about it, obviously, because you're here. But if you're at home, write down Santa. You guys can see the theme here. By the way, it's so funny. The date of this workshop does jump around a lot, and I could see it from our secret words of the past. I think last time it was like Thanksgiving words, and I was laughing. I go, you know what's funny? This workshop bounces around a lot because it's just a busy time of year, and we have to settle down on when we're going to do this. And I was laughing. I'm like, but you know what? It always falls when we all need it. And I feel like, yes, I had a long, stressful day, but
I'm excited to teach this with you guys, so it's all good. So that takes us into chapter 2, right? Preventing stress. So this is the whole let's not stress the small stuff, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to keep our stress levels low, because I mean we need to, right? Not stressing those small things. We're going to talk about nutrition. If you don't think nutrition can create some stressful responses in your body, I don't know what to tell you. There's some great books about that, which we'll talk about. Having outlets. It's a little bit on financial relationship stress, and then we'll talk about adjustments later, how they help with stress response. I know you all know this, right? If you're one of my patients, you're like, Dr. Jamie, you don't think we haven't heard you talk about adjustments in the stress response? Well, I can't help it. I teach this all over the country, okay? All right, so my first quote, I'm going to start with one of my favorite books. And you know what's funny? A lot of my patients are going through it. I just had 3 patients bury their dogs this week. What the heck? I know, I'm like crying with them because I've known their dogs for like 10 years. And it's horrible. And I'm like, great book. I know. And to me, I get it. Dogs are a family. That's my household too, right? So Sheryl Sandberg wrote a great book. It's called Option B. And if you've ever dealt with loss or deaths in your family or deaths with someone that you love, great book. So Sheryl Sandberg was one up there with at Facebook, like second in line to Mark Zuckerberg, one of those. And she was on vacation with her husband in Mexico and he died on a treadmill. Horrible story, right? This is her recovery. So what she did was she went all over the place and she interviewed people on how they got over or how they recovered from loss. And it's the most incredible. Yes, you will cry in the first 20 minutes or the first 20 pages, right? So just a heads up, have your tissues ready. But it's the most incredible book. It's a great book for somebody going through this right now. And it also helps people because you know when that happens to a friend, you don't know how to do you leave them alone, you don't want to bother them, but they really think, do they want my help, do they not, I don't want to annoy them. She talks about the best ways to help your friends too going through it, which I think is a really beautiful thing, but it's a great book. Funny enough, one of my favorite women speakers in our area now all over the country, all over the world, Nancy Frates, the ALS bucket challenge, she's the one who recommended this book to me. So I always thought, wow, if someone inspired Nancy, I'm on it. So that's who recommended this book, and you know she's gone through it too. So it's pretty amazing. So you know it's a good book. So let's talk a little nutrition. Yes, everything you eat does have an effect on your brain. Duh, right? Omega 3s. I mean, if you want to come to my nutrition workshop coming up in March, I do a whole section on why omega 3s are so important. We have to have those healthy fats. God, I get so irritated. This is why I can't be on social media. Someone posted a thing about how veggie oils really aren't that bad. Well, okay, they're not if you're having enough omega 3s. But do we have enough omega 3s? Are people eating more leaves or seeds? Everything is seed oil. So our omega 3 ratio is supposed to be way higher than omega 6. And that's really the problem. And then everything in the world is like vegetable oils. But we're not eating enough salmon and fish oil and flaxseed, even though that doesn't even convert that well. So come to the workshop, we'll talk about that. If you're out of balance in any part of your body from omega 3 to omega 6, then you have inflammation. And as a chiropractor, of course, I'm dealing with the spine. So if you're highly inflamed, it is really hard to adjust you, and adjustments can be even sore. And that's why I do sell a really good one. This is one I take every night. Omega 3 helps me so much with focus too, and even post concussive patients. It's really good for you. We don't get enough of it, and that's why that's why I have the supplement. And make sure you have a really good supplement if you're taking it. Uh, Eating lean. We know this. This is duh. Lean grass fed. That's why I put the duh stuff, right? Lean grass-fed meat, because if you're eating conventional meat, it's corn-fed, and corn is a seed, not a leaf, so it's omega-6, so it's inflammatory, not great for your brain. We don't want inflammation in our brain. Lots coming out about inflammation in the brain. You see it all over the place. A lot of my favorite brain doctors are talking about how inflammation in the brain, how horrible it is. Depression, dementia, Alzheimer's. We got to keep our inflammation down, especially in our brain. White foods are highly inflammatory. Don't hate me this time of year. Sugar, flour, all that. You're wondering why everyone is getting sick right now? It's not because that someone sneezed on you. It's sugar season. It's no vitamin D season, right? D is very important for your brain health as well. Avoiding processed food, duh. Oh my God, you ever see those studies come up and they're like, processed food is bad for us? And you're like, yeah, no crap, man. Like, do we really need studies that tell us this? We know this. Upping your antioxidants. That's why I love my Cialos because it's full of them. It's vitamins A, C, E. They take out the free radicals, which of course cause cancer. I would say I could do a whole workshop on this. So probably people have questions, just come to the nutrition workshop. Drinking more water, eliminating soda is poison. I don't know why people still drink it. So it's like, oh, but I drink it moderately. And I always think it's funny, the moderation thing, because it means something different to everybody. What's moderate to somebody might not be once a week, might be moderate to somebody, once a month might be. So one of my favorite wellness doctors says, sure, if you want moderate health, do it moderately, right? But that's really something that we all should cut out. I mean, especially as women. The problem with sugary anything, especially sugary drinks, is it spikes your insulin levels. And when we do that as women, it messes up our hormones and it literally messes up you won't be able to lose weight, period. Glucose Goddess is really good to follow her. She talks all about like insulin spikes. Very cool biohacker thing going on right now is they're having the insulin testers, the sugar spike testers, and it's pretty incredible what they're finding. Getting enough probiotics and magnesium. Yes, I sell both of them here. Magnesium glycinate is the best for your brain health. And we're going to talk about probiotics in a second. So why the heck do we need bacteria in our body? I think it's really funny that people think bacteria is a bad thing. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to die right now. When I first opened this practice 12 years ago, I got into a fight with a Boston Children's pediatrician. One of my kids who I was working with was horrifically, his gut was horrific, right? And he was delayed. He wasn't crawly. There was a whole bunch of issues. The kid's been on antibiotics his entire life, right? So I had a conversation with mom. I just read, Brain Maker, Dr. Perlmutter. And I was like, dude, you got to get him on probiotics, right? The mother stupidly talked to the pediatrician about it, who does not take, they don't take nutrition classes. And he said, I don't like the idea of bacteria going back in this kid. Yeah. Now I'm sassy now. If that happened nowadays, which thank God it doesn't, they actually prescribe probiotics. Funny, huh? I would have literally gone on Amazon. We didn't have it back then, and I would have gift wrapped it Dr. Perlmutter's Brain Maker and put on it on the card saying, thank you so much for the referral. You have some little bit of reading to do. Love Dr. Jamie. XOXO. Mwah, mwah. Smooches. Yeah. If I was a sassy now. But sorry, germaphobes. This is why I'm not a germaphobe. We have a lot of friendly bacteria in our body. We have 100 trillion bacteria in our body. Our bacteria, by the way, gross, right? Your bacteria outnumber your cells 10 to 1. Viruses, so bacteria is 10 to 1. I think viruses is like 7 or 8 to 1. Don't quote me on that. I when I read that. It's our second. Oh my God. Another hilarious article popped up. Oh my God. Did you guys know your gut is linked to your brain? No crap, Sherlock. That was a study that just was published. I was like, no way. Huh. Maybe that's why we call it the enteric system. Huh. Okay, cool. That's why it's called enteric nervous system, because it's your second most neurons to your brain. This is why we have that gut feeling, right? That's why we know our stress is our stress linked to our gut? Absolutely. First line of defense. You guys really think everything you eat is clean? You guys ever watch Mythbusters back in the day? I'm showing my age. Yeah. They did a Seinfeld episode where they did the double dip thing, because remember, like, that was the whole thing of Seinfeld. Do you know they found out that people, like, about the double dip? Remember George, like, freaks out someone does the double dip at parties? Yeah, which is kind of gross. Like, you really shouldn't do that. They found out that there's more bacteria in the salsa than the double dip, because guess what? Not everything is clean. Like, come on. But we have our bacteria in our gut to help us with that. Isn't that nice? I think it's very nice. It also aids digestion. It helps you give you vitamins, right? It decreases inflammation, IBS, inflammatory bowel syndrome, right? Maintains integrity of the gut wall. Leaky gut is a major problem, especially people who have Hashimoto's. Any type of leaky gut is horrific for your brain. But biggest thing I can go over with you guys right now, the biggest take home message, and I've been saying this for freaking years, is it produces your neurotransmitters, serotonin. So I meet so many women who are on SSRIs. Guess what you're putting in your body? Serotonin. And what drives me up the wall is, instead of looking at the gut, none of these women have been asked, hey, do you have any digestive issues? No, they put them right on the drugs. So we're not fixing anything. We're just patching the symptoms. One of my favorite sayings is, if you're stepping on a dog's tail and it's barking, putting a sock in the mouth isn't fixing it. So they're just putting a sock in the mouth. And the problem with serotonin is, once you start taking it, your body stops making it. Any hormones, the body's like that. So then you're going to have to take more and more and more to fend for that. But 89% of your body, the serotonin is made in your gut, not your brain. That's why we have to take these. Like, if you have a history of antibiotics, if you've been taking antibiotics, a lot of our meat has antibiotics in it. Probiotics are so, so important. Signs of an unhealthy gut, we know IBS, IBS, IBD, we just talked about that. Foggy brain, depression, fatigue. I wish, and by the way, there's gut tests now. It's not hard anymore to find this stuff. Even locally, if you find a functional medicine doc, they'll do a gut panel on you to see what your gut looks like and what kind of probiotics you need to take, or if you even need to take them. Allergies, asthma, well, duh, your food's not digesting, or if you have a leaky gut, that's definitely going to have a problem. Diabetes, obesity, there's a really disgusting study where they did a fecal transplant. I guess they do that now, and they watch diabetes reverse. That's literally when you take the poop of one person, you put it in the other person. That is so freaking weird. You take healthy poop of a healthy person and you put it into a sick person's body and they get healthier. Who signs up for this stuff? But I guess if you want to reverse your diet, I know if you want a lazy way to reverse your diabetes, I mean, there you go, right? I mean, so funny. Eczema. Oh man, you want to cure babies' eczema? You put them on probiotics, prebiotics. That's why I have it in the fridge here. That's why I sell them. I think it's really funny. I have. Oh my God, this one of my ex's sister-in-laws. It took me 8 months to convince her to put her baby on because she had horrible eczema on probiotics. Hey, guess what cleared up finally when she listened to me? Huh. And then the medical doctor was like, oh, I guess that was a good idea. Here, in the holistic world, we know that if it's not coming out, hence the baby was constipated, it's gonna come out somewhere else. So a lot of skin issues, especially like acne and stuff, have to do with our gut. The moment I gave up dairy and realized my body didn't digest it at all, I stopped getting pimples. By the way, I just wear some blush and some bronzer. If you ever look at my face, I don't wear foundation. And I have pretty damn clear skin. I tell you, giving up dairy, poor Katie, she gets so mad at me because I told her that when we first started hanging out 10 years ago. And my office manager lives at home. It's funny. We just hang out though. She'll come in here, she'll have like a pimple. She'll be like, the cheese was really good though. She knows it because she'll see it on her face the next day. So I challenge you guys to like look at your face and see what you ate the day before. Chronic urinary tract, yes. We won't go in there, but sleep issues, and like I said, the fecal transplant studies. And if you want to be lazy, the easiest way to lose weight is taking probiotics. Duh, you're digesting your food better. So definitely some studies here that came out that show that obese people actually lost abdominal fat. Only, I mean, 5% will take it, right? Just by taking a probiotic. That's it. And if you want more information, this book's on my desk. Oh, Dr. Perlmutter, he was such a gem. Yes, I met him. He spoke at a chiropractic seminar 3 years ago. And oh man, I was first in line. It was so nerdy. I like read out the moment he came to the back to sign books. And my poor friend who was with me was like, who are we meeting? I'm like, don't worry about it. She goes, you are such a nerd. I'm like Michael Phelps was at the same seminar, and you don't think I ran over to Dr. Perlmutter's booth first? You're sadly mistaken. And he was such a gem. I'm like, I've read all your books. He goes, really? It's like little older man. He's just the best. I love him. So Brain Maker, Grain Brain's another good one. Remember I just talked about earlier how that can affect your brain, what you eat. It's a really depressing book though. Talks about how grains are really bad for your brain, processed grains. Ugh. So anyway, anything questions? No, let's move on. Sweet. All right. So the next so first of all, we're talking nutrition, right? Probiotics, avoid foods that are inflammatory. Duh. But the next thing we can do also to prevent stress is have outlets. I mean, it's kind of like a funny thing. Now, outlets, very personal situation. My outlet is not the same as my two best friends over there, right? One's a runner, gross, love you, but gross. You ever want to see me stressed out? Watch me run. I always say I'm like a Labrador retriever. I need a snack or a ball, or you're not getting me running. I love when people come to my football games like, wow, doctor, you're really fast. I'm like, I know. Why don't you run? Because I hate it. Like, because I get bored. My ADHD is like, this is boring and my legs hurt. I hate this. I actually did dance a 5K this year. You could ask them. I got tricked into it. So I just danced the entire time. It was great. Actually had a lot of fun doing it. It's funny for the three of us, we're very different on what our outlets are. Like Mare loves to sit and read. I like to go and play the piano. Like, we have our different outlets, which really is really cool. So you really want to find what you love that takes you away. And I love playing music. Because when I'm reading music, no one can bother me. I'm in it. I can't think of anything else. I'm reading music, right? That's what I'm focusing on, and it's really good for me. It's like when you read and you go somewhere else, and I do like reading. So, exercise. Everyone knows that exercise helps our brain, right? Proprioception. We all know exercise makes us happy. Oh my gosh, I got it. Every year I do this. You got to quote Legally Blonde, right? Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins makes you happy, and happy people don't just kill their husbands. Yes, duh. Best movie ever. That's how I used to get amped for exams. Sometimes I'll have Legally Blonde in the background because, but yeah, joining a class. So the thing about exercise that I love too is that I hope we have like our group at the gym that holds each other accountable. Poor Paul, if he's listening at home, my buddy Gentilly Brewery. I kicked his butt to the gym this morning. He's still not happy with me. Texted him like 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, so I'll see you at 8, right? He's like, I have a board meeting after. I go, yeah, I know you do because I'm going to be a part of that in March. He's like, he shows at the gym. He's like, I'm not here because I want to be. And then I'll get on the gym and I'll be at the gym and going to get on the bike, and he can tell that I'm just going to dog it. I hear across the gym, I see you dogging it. I'm like, I'm not even on the bike yet. So it's good to have friends and have fun at the gym. We have a blast at the gym, I have to say. I have a great group. They have a run club. Gentilly, they have a great run club. I hate running, but they love it for some reason. So Thursday nights they meet up. So it's not just you're getting that good endorphins from the exercise, but you're also hanging out with really cool people. You might be a solo person at the gym like Joe is, and that's her time where she can like watch a show and get on the treadmill or whatever. So you really have to find out what works with you. Are you a yoga person? Just any type, whatever exercise, and then committing to a class because you'll make friends that hold you accountable, right? I don't like the pay-per-visit gyms and stuff like that. I like the membership, especially for yoga, because you're like, oh, if I get in this many times, I only pay $10 for class. I gotta get in, right? So you'll get in for that, and it holds you accountable. Music, I mean, who doesn't have a good time at karaoke? You don't even have to sing, just watch, right? Sing in the shower. I I was in a mood this morning. I put on Lizzo radio. And this is a true story. If you guys know me well enough, that's definitely a thing. And you don't think I was like showering. I think it's where my hair is so fluffy. I was like blow drying my hair. I was like, yeah, let's go. Because I'm a music person. I always have music on. But it so helps me with stress, man. Put on some good chick rock and sing in the car. I don't know, man, that helps with stress. Lizzo radio, use that. Jan Jackson radio is really good too if you need some 80s. Reading something for fun, something inspiring. Like I said, when you're in that book, you can't be anywhere else. It takes you to another world. Creating, what's really cool? I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Pete down the street. He just opened a sculpting pottery place, brand new. Sip and Score. Very cool. Yeah. And we also have clay dreaming, which is awesome. So creating very cool stuff. One of my patients is ceramic mugs. We did her class. No, mine did not turn out very great. I made a lightsaber mug, obviously. Um, it's special. She told me I did a good job. She loves me. But was it fun? Oh my God, it was a blast. And when you're in there, you're not thinking of anything else. So sign up for classes like that. They're all over Beverly, which we love. Hammer and Stain's another great one. I love Leslie. That's another creative place where you can go with your friends and make cool projects. I'm just like, I love it. I'm plugging my downtown business owners. Go Beverly Main Street. Let's go. Some people like sewing and knitting, not my thing. I wish I was good at it, but that's also a good outlet. Join a group, especially as women. Women need to tribe. This is why like the man cave is a thing. Men are testosterone based, right? They're also dopamine based. They like to be alone to get that. Women need other women. So I like to joke and call it God's I'm sorry for putting up with men hormone, oxytocin, which we actually get when we're around other women, which makes us happy and full of estrogen. So, all right, taking a class cooking. We also, it's funny, Taste Buds down the street. We have a great cooking class. I'm just going to plug everyone in Beverly. Let's go. Music classes. I don't know if they have them around here. Taylor Swift sing-alongs. Yes, I could do another one. Those at home who don't know that, I did do a Taylor Swift sing-along for a bunch of my patients. That was relaxing, Sarah. That was a good time. We had some wine. We sang. That was very therapeutic. We might have to do that again. That was a blast. And then like journaling. Some people love to journal. It's a good way to get it out. And of course, travel. We're travel. If you ever follow me on Instagram, I'm a travel junkie. Like I love traveling. It does not stress me out. The problem solving, especially that goes in when you're in a country where you don't speak the language, and just being on a beach in another country, it's just so awesome. And it's so fun to see how other people live. Can it be stressful? Sure. Joe and I have some really funny stories. We're here. We survived. But I find traveling awesome. I actually love airplane rides. People think I'm nuts. They're like, oh, you like it? Why do you like airplanes? I'm like, dude, I get to sit for 6 hours and watch movies. When do I ever get 6 hours where no one's bothering me and I can't use my phone? I'm just chilling watching movies. It's great. I love it. So, and volunteering. One of the cool things of in that book, Option B, I think it's in Option B, yes, it must be. One of the last interviews was talking about a guy who was in AA, and they talk about the steps. Anyone who's known anyone in AA knows the last step is giving back, that 12th step. And they say that if you don't complete that 12th step, then you're in trouble. You're not going to make it through the program, right? Because when you volunteer and you give back, it makes you appreciate what you have. And that's why I love Rotary Club. I'm a big part of Beverly Rotary Club. We do service projects, Beverly Main Street. You'll see me volunteering at booths. Um, it's great to give back. It really is. And you do really appreciate, especially when you're packing lunches or gathering food for Beverly Bootstraps, you're giving back, to people who can't afford it. So there's something really cool to that. And in here we do collections and stuff like that too. So it's a great way to get a part of it. Preventing unnecessary stress, social media, dude. And I always say in my first workshop, in my half-hour workshop, it's one of my favorite take-home messages. One of my favorite things, we're going to get to that in a second, that chiropractic does is we decrease the stress response and we help the prefrontal cortex. What is the number one way you could screw up your prefrontal cortex and create stress? Your phone. Actually, one of my favorite biohacking doctors who actually know just did an interview, and he said the worst thing you can do during a workout is look at your phone, because you're literally firing up. Whether you're seeing something happy or not, that blue light is actually firing up your stress response. And if you're in stress response while you're working out, that is not good. That's really not good for you. You want to put your phone away, work out, and then come back to your phone. If you're listening to music, I guess like maybe just put the phone away and do what you need to do, or putting it on airplane mode. But it's really bad for when you work out. Social media is a great lie. Telling people, I mean, I always joke about you always, yes. Yeah.
You're on a treadmill and it's already screaming.
I know. At least it's not I don't know. Do you have blue light blockers in your glasses?
Not that I know.
Because you can get blue light blockers in your glasses too. I mean, that's an idea. It might make you a little sleepier though. But yeah, I know it's not great. But blue light blockers you can get in glasses. So I don't know. Mine are really ugly. I got them back in the day. Katie and I went to a seminar all about it, and we went on. It was like early on Amazon, and we both got pairs, and we did notice a huge difference. I throw them on at night. I actually do around like 8:30, 8. I throw on my blue blockers, and it really does help you fall asleep quicker. It's amazing how that light keeps you awake. And of course, turning your phone off 90 minutes before you go to bed. That's like one of my pet peeves. No one needs their phone on when they sleep. If you use your alarm clock, put it on airplane mode. That EMF radiation, even if you fall asleep, you're not getting good sleep. And I think it's funny. I actually got into a fight with someone the other day that they think dreaming is deep sleep. It's not. That's lucid dreaming. You want to get into that deep sleep. And so all that EMF, oh my God, it horrifies me that teenagers put it under their pillow. No wonder they're so freaking tired, exhausted. You meet teenagers, they're so tired and they can't focus. I'm like, get off your damn phone. And you shouldn't even have it in the room when you sleep. So airplane mode works really well for that. But really making sure you're not unless you're throwing your blue blockers on, which you can get, like I said, on Amazon. There's some way cuter ones. Mine are hideous. They actually look like something out of Star Trek. Branding. But yeah, making sure you're not getting that blue light, it's going to really mess up your sleep. Because even if you fall asleep, you're not in deep sleep with that thing around. So getting a good night's sleep, sleeping more than 4 hours. Did you know that women need more sleep than men? Been researched. We do, of course we do. We use our brain better too. We got more neurons firing off, right? Women need more, like 7 to 8 hours. Men don't really need that. They could use less. So don't ever let any man tell you you don't need to sleep. We do. We need sleep, especially for our hormones during the luteal phase of our cycle. So right before you get your period, yeah, I don't care if you're at home and you don't want to hear about the menstrual cycle. You're tuning into the wrong doctor. Towards the end, right before you get your period, that's when you need your most sleep and the most rest. Or else it screws up the rest of your cycle. If you guys are wondering that, we just need sleep. So learning how to say no, I've actually gotten really a lot better at this. I know I'm on less boards than I used to be. I just got kicked off the Beverly Main Street's executive board. Yes, that was Paul who had to do that, which is great. He's like, I didn't kick you off. You aged out. I'm like, yeah, I did. And now I'm gonna sit there and look pretty at meetings. It's great. I just sit there like, mm-hmm. I was the president for the last 2 years, and then he became president. So it's so nice to delegate now. But delegating is really important. If you're trying to do everything yourself, this is something I've had to learn. I'm horrible at asking for help. Ask them too. Remember when I broke my hand earlier this year trying to adjust people? That was stupid. I think I had a mutiny of patients that were like, you need a rest. I'm not coming in, which I thought was awesome. But learning how to say no, and it's just really hard, especially for us who are hyper independent due to trauma. It's something that we gotta work on. Something I've always been working on. So, which takes me, oh yeah, she sent me to Jamaica. It was awesome though. Oh my God. And I made sure all the good looking guys helped me carry my bags. It was great. Especially your good looking guy helped me out. It was awesome. Um, which takes me to the Four Agreements. You guys know the Four Agreements? I think it's a very famous book, and it's really it's a book, but there's really only four agreements, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So if you want to read the book, go knock yourself out. But I'm gonna make it really easy. We're gonna give you the 5 minute Cliff Notes version of it because there are four things that are so stupid important. It's ridiculous. And the best is these four things. You'll see them all over the place. I was just talking about like AA. Al-Anon uses these things. They just call it something else. And anytime you go to like um, people who help you work with trauma, whether it's a counselor, or retreat, or meditation retreat, they always talk about these things. These are really important four things. The first one is be impeccable with your word. We know this, especially as women. I bet you all of you guys, I can go around the room, I'm not going to, and I can ask you something you heard during your childhood, even if the person didn't mean it, that's still stuck in your brain right now and hurts. Okay? We all have that one thing. Because no matter how much I tell you how gorgeous you are, how they're full of shit, you're not going to believe me because that stupid thing is burning your head. And that's why even from us going out, what we say is so, so important. You got to be impeccable with your word. You guys, I love the Al-Anon saying, say what you mean what you say, don't be mean. So it's okay to be honest with somebody, but it's not okay to be a dick. Oh my God, you know what's so funny? I got quoted at Beverly Main Streets for "Don't be a dick." I was really tiring, and we hired a new director, and it was funny because I told you like there were important people in the city sitting with me on this board to the hiring committee. And I was president back then, and we're trying to do this hiring committee, and I was so tired because I'm trying to run a business. I'm trying to be president of an organization that we need a new director, so I was pretty much running two things. And we're in this meeting. I'm interviewing the last person. We actually ended up hiring her, and I just looked at her and said, just don't be a dick. And so, of course, they quoted me on that. And so my email is a hashtag don't be a dick. Dr. Jamie says don't be a dick. And it just became this thing, which it really comes down to that, right? Be impeccable with your word because you never know that you might say something. You might be ordering a coffee one day and you might give that person the compliment they need. So it could go both ways. Or if you're kind of mean to somebody, that could really hurt them. You don't know what you're triggering to. You don't know what people have been through. So I love the saying that, you could smash a glass or a plate on the ground, but you'll never be able to glue it back together the right way. That's what it means by being impeccable with your word, right? Stop taking things personally. Oh my gosh. In Al-Anon, we used to put a Q-tip in your pocket. Quit taking it personal because adult kids of alcoholics are really good at taking everything personally. I was really bad at this when I started with practice, where it was like, oh, they canceled on me. Oh my God, it's my fault. They hate me. No, dude, they had things to do, or their kid threw up all over their car. And you learn like as you get older, like that is ridiculous. Most of like 90%, 99% of the things have nothing to do with you. People have their own crap. That's a great mantra. People have their own crap. Use that. Let's write that one down on the next slide, right? Stop making assumptions because it makes an ass out of you and me. We all know that saying. And do your best without self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. I love that. I didn't write it. The Al-Anon, I told you, it's Al-Anon. It's the Four Agreements. It's Al-Anon saying it's progress, not perfection. And that's one thing that I've worked on a long time myself. So that one always hits close to home. You always do your best because everyone is trying their best. And as long as you're trying your best, don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. You do what you can, right? So isn't that fun? You're welcome. Now you don't have to read the book. Easy, right? Cool. And it's a good book. Financial stress. I think the easiest way to help with financial stress is know where your money goes. Do a budget. Oh my gosh, I got to shout out. There's a couple that I shout out to every single year that are the most. I love them. I was at their wedding. They shouted me out in their vows. They're the OG wedding I went to. They're patients of mine, and they do a budget together. They're married, and they do a budget meeting every month, the two of them. I mean, what's the number one reason people divorce? Money, right? So I think that I always just really admired them for that because it's important to know where your money goes because things add up. It's like, oh yeah, Netflix here and Disney Plus there and Prime there, and all of a sudden you're spending $100 a month on something you don't really even use. So knowing where your money goes and of course prioritizing things that are actually important, investing in yourself, not things that you shouldn't. Also putting money aside for knowing where money goes, but putting aside money for enjoyment. I think one of the big lessons I learned this year was life is short. And, we accidentally went on a lot of really cool trips this year from Jamaica to Italy, Italy to Jamaica to Italy to, I don't even know, Joe, by accident on a cruise, chiropractic cruise. That was kind of cool. But, life is short. one of my dear friends was in a horrible skydiving accident. The one I was hanging out with, she's a chiropractor. She really helped me through when I broke my hand. Tell me, like, amazing. She fell, was it 120 feet, and she broke everything on the left side of her body, and she shouldn't even be alive. And her perspective of life, hanging out with her for that week, was unbelievable. She's actually one of my favorite people. Imagine me, but the Georgia version. She's all of us chiropractic women are pretty much the same in a great way. And just the life is short mentality, that when you're faced with death, changes everything. And she's awesome, because anything that you want to do, you call her up and you're like, hey, you want to go to skydive? Not skydive, she's not allowed to skydive. You want to go? She went paragliding, that brat, in Switzerland this year. We all had a heart attack. She's like, it wasn't skydiving. I'm like, girlfriend. All of us at the table at the chiropractic, the careers were like, that's, what are you doing? She's like, it's not the same. We're like, okay. But yeah, anything you want to do, you're like, hey, let's go to Costa Rica. And she'd be like, all right, let's go. Where are we going tomorrow? Okay, cool. Let me move my patients around. Like, she's awesome. I love that. And I love the saying, don't spend money what you cannot pay in cash. I know that's not always the case that we can do that, but if we stick to that most of the time, when something comes up, like a furnace breaks or something like that, at least you're in a better situation. Putting some savings aside, whether you're doing an IRA or a mutual fund, some kind of like retirement, that's always good. Contribute to a 401k, always good, right? Putting some money aside. And like I said, meeting with an advisor that you can trust, having a good financial advisor is insanely helpful, because I don't understand that crap. But I have a guy that does. So thank God. It's so funny. People always think that I'm really good with like the numbers thing because I'm a business owner. No, I'm a great doctor. So one of my friends, when she ran for city councilor, asked me to be her treasurer. And I did it. But I looked at her and I go, dude, I stink at that stuff. She goes, but you're a business owner and you've been around for a while. You're a successful business owner. I go, I have a great bookkeeper and a great accountant and a great financial advisor. And she goes, oh. I was like, don't worry, I'll still, it's data entry. I'll do it for you. It's fine. I did for 2 years too, for her too, which was fun. And then of course, saving a little things that up, like I said, really knowing where your money goes, right? So the next thing that this takes me to is love and relationship stress. And I love telling the story. I tell the same one every year because this is my favorite story. It's the same author as the Four Agreements. It's from the book, The Mastery of Love. It's just a great story. I love saying it, telling the Dr. Jamie version every year. It's something that I love to remind my friends, remind myself of, right? And it's something that I've worked on throughout the years. So the story goes like this. If you have a house, so there's a man, right? Or woman, whatever. And the person has absolutely no food in their house, right? The food is no food, and they're really, really hungry. If a person comes to the door with a greasy piece of pizza and offers it for this person for $1,000, would they take it? They're starving. Yeah, probably, right? Or $100? Sure, right? Gross piece of pizza, $100. Not a great deal, but if you're starving, you may take it, right? Let's go to the other side. This person now has a whole house of food. Awesome food. Best food you've ever seen, right? Now that guy comes to the door with the greasy piece of pizza for $100, $1,000, whatever you want to do. Do they take it? Absolutely not. So what the heck does this have to do with relationships? If you surround yourself with love, the most love ever, when someone comes by and has that greasy piece of pizza that's not worthy of you, it's very easy to let them go. So I have to say, creating a amazing friend group, amazing family, as we like to call it, right? People who teach us unconditional love. When someone comes by and they're not worthy of you, it is so much easier to break free of that or say, no, I'm good, thank you. And I love that story. I think it's such a great story to live by, right? Filling that house with love, and also being grateful for what you have is a huge part about that. And, seeing the greatness of what we have, because there's someone out there that would kill for your life, right? And it's pretty amazing. Do we have a roof over our head? Do we have food? We take those small things for granted. So knowing that y'all have a good house full of food, right? Isn't that a great story? I love it. That takes me to the next secret word, which is snowman. Do you want to build a snowman? Sorry, I had to go Disney. Of course I did. Oh, I'm going to go quick. Aha! So people at home are like, oh, what was that word? I got to go back now. I got my earpiece now, so they can't even say they can't hear me. Oh. All right, so let's talk about dealing with stress, right? Like, when stress comes along, because it's going to, what do we do? How do we defend ourselves, right? Well, the first thing you do is breathing. And I think this is an important thing that we all take for granted, right? It was funny. I was seeing the sauna at the gym, and I'm like, okay, don't stress about the stress workshop. Don't stress about the stress workshop. It's funny. I was seeing the workshop like, oh, that's my mantra today. So I don't think there's a slide for that. Okay, cool. So we're gonna take some deep breaths. This is one of my favorite things to do when someone really pisses me off because it really does change everything. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. So if you're at home, follow along with me. I take a second. If you're wrapping presents or making cookies, go find a nice place to sit. I guess you could do this standing too. And we're going to breathe. And as women, because our pelvic floor, if you guys went to the pelvic floor workshop, you know that you need to breathe through this bottom part where they call dantian or something like that in Tai Chi. That bottom part, we want to breathe through here, not our neck, your chiropractic office, not our chest, really through our stomach and right below that diaphragm. So we're going to aim for here, and I want you guys to breathe in through your nose for 3 seconds. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hold it. You're tying yourself to the present. And now let it out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then pause. Breathe in. 2, 3, hold it. Wow, you guys could go longer. And then out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more. Breathe in. 2, 3, hold it. Tie yourself to the present. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. We just changed the energy of this room. Every time I teach breathing, I feel like every workshop I teach breathing. You know why? Because we don't breathe well enough, especially as women, right? We got to take those. See how that changed everything? So if someone cuts you off on the highway, right? Taking those deep breaths, because who did that affect? The person on the highway or you? Was that good for your health or their health, right? Oh man, I'm gonna have to talk about it's funny, the workshops, right? About being perspective. Actually, when we get to the mantras, remind me to tell you this. The only thing everyone remembers from this workshop is one of my traffic little stories if someone cuts you off, but we'll go there in a second. The other thing is, if you're really stressed out, I'm bad at, like, this is something that I'm always doing with myself, is that I try to meddle in the future. Oh my God, what if this happens? What if this happens? Oh my God, tomorrow's going to be so crazy. How am I going to get through tomorrow? One of the really great things that you could do is look at your feet. You're like, why? What's up with my feet? Because I'm wearing my red shoes today, right? Why? Why are my feet? Because where are your feet? They're right here. Are they in the past? No. Are they in the future? No. So stop trying to walk in them. Stop trying to walk in the future, the past. They're here and now, right? So you can always ask yourself, if you're stressed out, if you're meddling in the future, be like, hey, dude, where's your feet? And actually, you guys can do it to each other. If you guys are stressed out about the day or something like that, be like, hey, where's your feet? Now you know what that means. All right, so now let's have some fun. Let's do a grounding workshop. So we're having this New Year's thing for the Power of Women Committee, and one of the girls who's speaking, who's really sweet, but she's like, oh, I learned this thing that's really good to tying you to the present with your senses. And I go, you mean grounding? I was like, I teach this every year. She's really sweet, though. I'm like, it's good. We should teach grounding these things, right? So we're going to play the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 game. So you guys can do this at home, too. It's kind of a fun thing. I do this while I'm walking. I find myself really in my thoughts. This is one of my favorite games to play. If you ever see me walking down, like, downtown and doing my little thing, we call this the Dr. Jamie mile, because everything in my life is within this mile radius. I live like that, 2 blocks that way. I work out over there. My bank's over there. My coffee shop's over there. You always see me walking around. It's really funny. But you might see me kind of doing my thing. Sometimes I'm actually doing this little exercise. So the first thing, you start with number 5. 5 things you see in this room. I see Kat's awesome sweater. I see a water bottle. I see my tables. Pick 5 things you see in this room. So if I'm walking around, I'm like, there's a tree. There's a bird. There's a cool house. There's that. And you pick your 5 things. Then we go down to 4. What do you feel? I feel my sweater. I feel my hair. I had earrings in. I feel my little thingy in my ear. Okay. I feel my shoes. So pick those 4 things. You guys got your 4 things? Sweet. 3 things you can hear right now. You can hear my voice. You can hear the traffic outside. Can't hear the heater on though, huh? No. We can hear my brushing of my feet on the ground, right? 2 things we can smell right now. Hopefully it's not the person next to you. It's probably the diffuser, honestly, right? You probably smell the lavender in there. Maybe smell your shampoo. I don't know, from earlier today. Cool. And then one good thing about yourself. I'm a badass. That's what I like. Right? One good thing about yourself. You stole that from me. You are. All of you are. I know all of you guys. You all are. Sweet. Cool. Isn't that a fun little game? If you want the slides, I can send it to you guys. You guys should have gotten in the email when you signed up. Dealing with emotional stress. This is one of my favorite things in the world. I am the mantra queen. I always feel like I should have an app to help you with a mantra. So if you're stressed out and I'm adjusting you, be like, give me a mantra for this. I love mantras. They're my jam. My favorite one, you'll hear me say this a lot. They will vouch for me for this. It's really funny. I'm always like, it all gets done. It always does. You'll hear me say that to patients who are really stressed out. I go, it all gets done. It always does. It's like one of my favorite things, my favorite mantras. You guys can borrow that. Steal it. I don't care. I probably stole this from someone else. One thing at a time. I used to use that a lot when I was studying. Like when I had multiple tests, it'd be like one test at a time or one present at a time or, one day at a time. Also really good. This too shall pass. This is temporary is what got me through my broken hand. This is temporary. This is temporary. This is temporary because I was in a bad mess with this thing. Breathe in, breathe out. Great mantra while you're breathing because you really can't. I mean, if you don't have one, just breathe in, breathe out works. I actually heard that at yoga. It was pretty fun. And just be creative. There's so many. We were playing football last season. Or no, it was probably like a year ago at this point. And I love my quarterback. We've become good friends. She's the best. But I didn't really know my team that well. I was on a new team. And she was getting in her head, right? And we were down by a lot, and it was a rough game. And she was just in her head. She threw an interception. And I walked over to her and I looked at her. I grabbed her by the arms. I get really fired up when I play anyway. It was like the halftime. And I grabbed her by the arms. I said, repeat after me. And she goes, okay. I go, I'm a badass quarterback. And she goes, she looks at me like I had two heads. I'm like, say it. And she goes, I'm a badass quarterback. I go, I'm a badass quarterback. She goes, I'm a badass quarterback. I go, one more time. I'm a badass quarterback. I'm a badass quarterback. Would you believe that we came back and we won the game? It was hilarious. And I love her to death. So the poor thing, I told her if we won the Super Bowl, she'd have to get a tattoo that says I'm a badass quarterback. Well, we won the Super Bowl. You guys saw the ring after I came back from my broken hand. We won the Super Bowl. She hasn't got her badass quarterback. I'm gonna hold her to that. She still has me a tattoo, right? The other questions you can ask when you go through something, and it's really hard. Breaking my hand was probably one of the most, like, it was a really hard emotional thing for me. I'm really independent. I'm really bad. Very bad at asking for help. And man, was that a lesson this year. If you would have asked me years ago what my biggest fear was as a chiropractor is breaking my hand because this is my gift. So physically, mentally, this was bad to a point where you guys put me on an airplane to Jamaica. But what got me through it, is how will I learn from this? What do I need to learn? And I look back now and literally it was the best thing to ever help me ask for help. It was humbling as heck and learning how to take time off to heal myself. And it was a really incredible lesson. And I hope to never do it again, by God. But I did learn a whole lot. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another, which takes me to my favorite traffic story because this is the one thing y'all get over. Like, it's really funny. I could teach this whole workshop and everyone the next day is like, guess what? I used your story in the car the other day. My husband laughed. I go, oh, great. Here we go. When someone cuts you off on the highway, you know what I love saying out loud? It's got to poop. We've all been there. Shit happens, right? And do you drive safely when you got to go? No. So give the person the best. I used to say, oh, maybe their wife's having a baby. This is funnier. And of course, poop's funny. So the nurses are like, why are you laughing? It's not that funny. I'm like, I think it's funny, right? Shit happens, right? Okay, good. Thanks. And it's funny. So next time someone cuts you off the highway, look at your significant other and be like, he probably has to poop. And you literally crack them up and they'll go from like really angry to start laughing. You literally just took them out physiologically out of stress response and into parasympathetic. So maybe they had a poop. So I laugh because everyone tomorrow is going to come here and be like, maybe he had a poop. Like, I'm telling you, it's the only thing that you guys get out of this workshop. These are in the slides that you guys got at home. These are just some books I love. There's Option B there. I love Simon Sinek. He's got a great podcast too. Just some great books to help you if you need some inspiration or going through some stuff. Some supplements, man. My favorite thing for going when I have like something stressful that happens is ashwagandha. I know, God bless you. Ashwagandha and Sammy are awesome when you're going through something really hard and you just need to take that edge off. It's so funny. If I have a really big football game, the national anthem kind of messes me up. They play the national anthem before the game. And so if you ever hear I to a point where now when they did it at something, I think it was at the Bruins game and they played the national anthem, I'm like, oh, PTSD, stress response. I'm wired now for being stressed. And you'll see me, if you see me play football during during the national anthem, I'm like wiggling around, like trying to it makes me nervous. It's so funny. And I usually don't get nervous, but if we have a big game, I'll actually take an ashwagandha. It helps calm me down. It doesn't make you tired, it just helps calm your nerves down. It's great. And there's some great nutritional supplements for that. So just to wrap it up, but you guys know this, I talk about this on Blue in the Face, misalignments in our spine do affect the stress response. And yes, we can go to arthritis, and yes, We can go to other things that chiropractic helps prevent, like we help maintain the spine. But my favorite thing we do, especially for the women in my office, is we shut down your stress response every freaking time. And it's fun because when I wrote this workshop, this was way before I started speaking the chiropractic circuit. This is an old workshop. This is like a predates, and I add to it if I have a fun mantra or something like that. But this predates COVID, this workshop. And I think what the most interesting thing is during COVID was the biggest learning lesson is when I didn't see someone for a long time, I had a bunch of women cry after their adjustment. I probably had like a dozen women cry. Because if you're in adrenaline mode, and then you go just shut it off, that's when the tears come, right? We know that. If you've ever been experienced like a death in the family, it takes a few days of like, oh my God, I got to get this together. I got to get the funeral together. And then all of a sudden, 3 days later, you're just like, blah, it happens. And I just remember that was such a big aha because these women who have been adjusting forever, when I shut down your stress response, you might not even notice it. Sometimes your face gets flushed, you get in your car and you're like, what was I stressed about? But that's this drop. Now we were seeing people, women especially, so stressed out. They had to get their kids homeschooled. They had to work. Like now we're seeing this drop, not here. So we were seeing such big response during COVID. So we know that the adjustments, when we have a subluxation, it makes that joint stuck. There's no pain here. The thing about a stiff joint is you don't even know that it's there unless you're really good at, oh, well, I think I can turn a little bit less than I usually do. You don't feel everything in our spine. That's why I'm always on my soapbox about it's not scientific to say it hurts here, adjust it. We know that because the problem can actually be up here, right? We know that especially with disc issues. But when we have healthy movement in our spine, when we don't have subluxations, right, when we're getting adjusted regularly, we have that full stimulation of brain called proprioception. You guys remember doing this in my office? It's our ability to perceive ourselves in space and time. This is why during it, when you're working out, you ever notice your brain's going? It's really funny. Proprioception wakes your brain up. I love when I'm in a yoga class. They're like, clear your mind. And I'm like, I need to go to the store. I need almonds. Oh, shit. I forgot to get orange juice, whatever it is, right? Because your brain's going. You can't shut it off because you're moving. Your spine is moving. And the most proprioceptive input is that upper neck. Our adjustments shut down your stress response. We have a plethora of research. My whole entire first third, when I teach research reviews at chiropractic seminars, is how we shut down the stress response. And remember the chart at the beginning? And some cool research papers that are still coming out to show that we do that. We've always known this. And of course, the opposite, when we're messed up in our spine, like we've never been adjusted, we've had traumas like car accidents, slips and falls, we sit too much, we look down at our phone too much, don't get me started. Then we have that sympathetic activation, right? That fight or flight, which is so cool that every time we adjust you and create movement in the spine, we shut down your sympathetic nervous system. How cool is that? I mean, I don't know any other treatment that does that. And that's because, of the prefrontal cortex, right? This isn't the study, but in 2016, we learned that an adjustment to the upper neck stimulates your brain 20%, the prefrontal cortex. It literally wakes it up. That's the part of the brain that shuts your stress response down, right? It does a whole bunch of other cool stuff too. But one of my, I thought this was just a really cool study. In 2017, they actually were able to measure some of the biochemical markers in our blood. How cool is that? And they noticed a cool correlation between adjusting the spine and things like oxytocin. That's cool. And cortisol. Well, duh, if we decrease your stress response. This is why I love adjusting my pregnant moms too. There was a study that came out, or actually a bunch of studies on the 9/11 babies. 30,000 women were pregnant during 9/11 in New York. They follow these, and isn't it weird how long ago that was now? I always feel so old. That's what makes me feel old when you find out how old these kids are now, right? But they follow them through the first 18 years of life, and they were all wired to anxiety. They had some serious, that's wiring in here. So when I adjust the mom and we decrease their stress response, how cool is that for the baby? There was a study, someone just posted a study on that, and I wish I need to print it out from the Pediatric Association. It's newer about the connection there. And doesn't it make sense? Because we decrease the stress response. You guys have seen the babies in here? What do you hear a lot about them? They're very chill, right? They call them Chiro babies. I didn't make the name up, for Chiro kids. Maybe there's something to that when we're adjusting them, they're not soaked in cortisol. Damn, I wish my poor mom, I wish my mom got adjusted when I was pregnant, when she was pregnant with me. That would have been really cool, right? And it's funny, yes, we have faster birth times. And yes, we help 85% of breech babies flip with chiropractic care. But I think it's way cooler we decrease the stress response, right? HRV, my first responders, right? You guys stressed all the time? Think about my firefighters, my paramedics, right? They're in high stress mode all the time. And what HRV, you guys know what HRV is? Heart rate variability. So this is really big with the like the biohackers, the Aura rings, the Whoop rings, people are checking out their HRV. You want it high because if you have something stressful at work, like you're fighting a fire, you metaphorically do that all the time, and then you go back to the station and you're chilling, does that immediately go all the way down? No. So you think the bigger this range is, the more it drops, the healthier you are, right? Because if you're only doing this, you're still up in the high stress region, right? Would you believe that adjustments help make that drop bigger? Of course it does. We decrease the stress response. It's like how we lower blood pressure too in research, right? So we create higher HRV. Athletic performance, very much linked to HRV. Makes sense though, right? We just perform better. We're not stressed out. But isn't that neat? So just showing that we really help with heart rate variability, which is really neat. Cool study, right? Which takes me to our last word, which is reindeer. Oh, I spelled it wrong. It's REI. I'm like a total spelling Nazi. I shouldn't use that word being Jewish, but yeah, it's grammar. I know. Look at her face, the teacher. She's so mad at me right now. I know. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, please spell it right at home. I'm going to flip it really quickly. It's reindeer. Just spell it correctly. So as we go through this holiday season, I hope that I helped you guys. Maybe you came up with a fun little mantra today. Maybe you're going to take a few more breaths, right? Especially at work with you guys. I know you guys are going to be busy this holiday season, right? Maybe next time someone cuts you off the highway, you're going to look at your friend and say, oh, maybe they have to poop. I hope you guys all use that from now on because it's the best thing ever. But here's the thing. Like I hope that you guys have less stress for the rest of your life. I know that's not going to happen, but now you have tools that I have given you that will help you cope with your stress. And if you ever need mantras, I love mantras. I need to create a mantra app. That's going to be my next thing. So who doesn't love Winnie the Pooh, right? So promise me you'll always remember that you're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And I love it. And that is it. And I'm going to leave you with that. So, all right, you guys. Well, have an awesome night. Happy birthday. And I'll see you guys in the new year, New Year's workshop.